So, but the global trade war fears are still there. We covered that a couple weeks ago, how these tariffs are going to, it is also true that the other countries raising tariffs on our goods could cause some increased prices on some things as well. So, I don't know. I don't know. Nobody really knows how that's going to play out and affect the economy in the near term or spook the markets. Like if the trends start going the wrong direction, we're only looking for a catalyst to have a big correction going into the summer. And I'm remembering vividly the 2021 bull run where we had that rip-roaring rally early part of the year. And then April, May started rolling over and into the summer, we saw that big pullback and a flash crash. I was it was pretty fast that happened. So we want to be prepared for that. The next phase is what we want to keep our eyes on for now, and we'll pull up the trade success checklist and take a look at some clues. But Bitcoin so far resilient above 95K on strong institutional interest, so we'll see if that plays out. And yeah, so talking about seller exhaustion is real too, because where we have buyer exhaustion at the upper levels of the price and kind of like a good old-fashioned Chinese weather balloon when it lingers up in the sky, floating across the United States for days and days, highly likely to get shot down out of the air. And so similarly, when price is down, then that's when in the sellers run out of steam. Then it's the buyer's turn to come in, and we know that everything runs in cycles. So the phenomenon of seller exhaustion might further indicate markets transitioning to selling to buying. I don't think we're there yet. We'll look at that in a minute. And factors like global economic conditions contributing to that, as well as stagnating spot Bitcoin ETFs. And let's see, stagnating, so continue to pressure the trajectory. Let's see. So we had some out days in the last week or so, and the inflows have largely slowed down a bit. And so yesterday we had some outflows. 2 days ago we had some outflows. Net we had yesterday was inflows. So, it's certainly the massive inflows have kind of slowed, but still, pretty much even at least. And this is this liquidation map we looked at last week, and I can pull it up if we want to, but there's not much to show. Liquidations have slowed down. I mean, the last couple sessions have seen some massive liquidations, as we know. But the sellers and the market makers, were sort of reaching an equilibrium, it would seem. However, potential correction below 95K still would liquidate over 1.52 billion of cumulative leverage longs. I said, not to repeat myself, but I did say months ago, 4, 5, 6 months ago, the battle for 100K would be really epic because the market makers, this is where they make their money, you guys. And they really do that from liquidating a lot of these high leverage traders, because when the market's moving high in the bull, they have to take the other side of that trade. And sure, they're making money on the transactions, but they're also taking the other side of the trade often, and you get these high leverage Bitcoin traders that make out like bandits, like Crypto Face and, and guys like that really, really know what they're doing. So the market makers are kind of losing in that regard. So they're basically right now they're getting fat for the winter, like a bear would do, when there's not as much food around. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't know. Anyway, despite short-term correction concerns below 90K, trajectory optimistic. Our signals are rolling over, you guys, not to spoil the fun, but when I pull this up on the weekly time frame, our TSI is rolling over, and it looks to me like we're heading lower on Bitcoin. I'm not sure if maybe we see a mini altcoin rally, but to me, Bitcoin not looking very bullish. And let's see, this saying Bitcoin above 150K, speculative fever. Yeah, I don't know. I think that would be a ceiling. If it hits 150K, we're going to see a reasonable pullback, these big round numbers. Just seeing this, by the way, this is why I guess Litecoin's been pumping last few days. ETF 90% chance to get SEC approval. That's worth watching because, I'm heavily into Solana for that same reason. I think it's a great project, but if they get an ETF, the buildup towards that is where the prices are really going to run. Similarly, Litecoin could see a similar kind of run up here. So let's jump over to that. And let's see, I don't see any questions. So, all right, Litecoin ETF, 90% chance, according to someone I've never heard of, as usual. Let's see, Bitcoin ETF analysts say, unnamed, say Litecoin regulatory filings have acknowledged SEC likely views it. So, I mean, the thing is, Litecoin is a branch off of Bitcoin because if Bitcoin's a commodity, then Litecoin's a commodity. So this is no surprise here because they are basically the same in terms of structure for the most part. And let's see, just skimming some news over on the right side. Bloomberg ETF analysts have top 90% chance that we already covered that approved spot Litecoin before the end of the year. That's a pretty wide window though. Question is when. All right, these guys. All right, so they're both good. James Seifert and Eric Balkunas are pretty solid. See the chances. So higher than other ETFs, and including XRP. And like I said, because it's a commodity, it's built the same way Bitcoin is. However, Solana, I still think has a good chance. Dogecoin, geez, why would anyone create a Dogecoin ETF? It makes no sense to me. Other than the ETF owners would make a lot of money, as if it's not easy enough to buy Dogecoin already. I don't understand this. But anyway, here, Litecoin, yes, which was created as a faster version of Bitcoin, alternative Bitcoin in 2021, shares similar proof of work consensus mechanism, like I said, built the same. Okay, proof of work. All right, so that's one to put back on our radar. You know, somebody talked about and asked about Litecoin last week, and I said I don't like the charts. It didn't look good, and then 2 days later it started picking up. So maybe whoever asked that question had some psychic ability or some other information that we weren't aware of. So Litecoin's path toward the SEC approval may be the most significant, straightforward, as S1 and 19.4B forms already been filled out, precursors for getting an ETF. So, you know, you need that in place. That is a signal that it's at least, you can't get the ETF without applying. So it's good news they've been filed and acknowledged. And also SEC likely views as a commodity, like we said. So here we go. Litecoin. I've seen this form before. And so this was an early signal before Bitcoin's ETF got approved. So we have Litecoin, Solana, XRP, Dogecoin, HBAR. That's interesting. That's interesting. And Polkadot too. Both are ones to watch out for. Polkadot's got some really interesting things coming out. And I was talking to Vadim Voss, our DeFi expert. He's very much into Polkadot and the Stella Swap and Moonbeam and all this cool stuff that they have coming out. And the transaction speed's really exciting. HBAR also has high potential because it's US based, so that's Hedera. So these are ones to revisit, kind of make a mental picture, and we'll pull those up on the charts. All right, strong demand in the previous ETFs. Ether's ETF wasn't that strong, but recently has seen more inflows, so that's good. ETFs here, 43 billion inflows since in January, all the way back. Farside investors already covered that. Let's see. But here's the thing. Well, but I doesn't think Litecoin would attract much demand. Also true. Why would it? Because faster transactions on Bitcoin is sort of a moot point. The Bitcoin has Lightning Network now, and I don't know that that's really going to generate a lot of interest here, but we might get a little bit of a pop. Let's see. They don't have to hit it out of the park, however. That's fine. Say come Trump happens. So saying expecting more ETF on. That's enough of that. Hey, this is Brett from Moonstream. If you'd like to learn more about our pro trading signals or our live classes every Wednesday or our Retire Rich program, go over to moonstream.io/start.